On this episode of the podcast, we take a look at the movie Fighting with My Family, written and directed by Stephen Merchant, starring Dwayne Johnson, Nick Frost, Lena Headey, Florence Pugh, Jack Lowden, and Vince Vaughn. Welcome to He Said, She Said Movie Reviews. This is the podcast where a happily married couple with similar but different movie tastes take a quick look at the movies, helping you make the right decision before your next movie. I'm your host, Tim.
And I'm April.
So this week we saw Fighting with My Family. We'll tell you all about it after these 3 trailers.
The first was The Sun is Also a Star. A teenager finds love at a difficult time in her family's life with Yara, Shahidi, and Charles Melton. This movie looks very different and very, very good.
The second movie or trailer we saw is for Tolkien. Tolkien explores the formative years of the orphaned author as he finds friendship, love, and artistic inspiration among a group of fellow outcasts at school. This stars Lily Collins, Nicholas Hoult, and Genevieve O'Reilly. I can't wait to see this movie. It's a biopic about Tolkien himself, one of the most influential persons on my life other than my darling wife, April.
Thank you for that. Okay, the third premiere was The Hustle. I want to see this. It's a remake of the 1988 comedy Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, in which 2 down-and-out con artists engage in a loser basically leaves town contest. Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson. It looks hilarious.
Yeah, this looks like another fantastic script written for Rebel Wilson. Can't wait to see this movie.
All righty.
So we saw Fighting with My Family. If you don't know what this movie's about, this is the piece about Saraya Knight, a.k.a. Paige in WWE. This was a really good movie. It's about a former wrestler and his family making a living performing in small venues around the country, aka England, while his kids dream of fighting in the WWE. It was written and directed by Stephen Merchant, who also had a small role in the movie, and it had a great cast with Dwayne Johnson, Nick Frost, Lena Headey, aka Cersei Lannister, Florence Pugh, Jack Lowden, and Vince Vaughn, who had a typical Vince Vaughn role, but he did a good job in it.
Oh, absolutely. I think this was a story that was well told. I laughed. I cried a little bit. I thought about things. The characters were very believable, which is important to me. But I also love it when there's a story that's not easily formed. You see growth, and I enjoyed it a lot. I loved seeing a little bit of conflict in a family that's real. I enjoyed it. Also, I mean, you talk about a young woman who had to dig deeper. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, this movie, I think, was billed as a comedy, and it did have some comedic elements to it. It was very subtle. I mean, Stephen Merchant is English, and the humor that was written into this movie was very English type humor, but it was enjoyable. But I thought it had a really good message too. It was all about kind of small town girl beat the odds and become a superstar type of theme. Perfect for a sports movie.
Yeah, I also thought there were themes of mentorship, which were important. Not to mention the chemistry that you sometimes meet along the way, whether they're a leader, a mentor, a coach. I thought that part was good. I thought Paige was completely believable. Florence Pugh. Is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah.
She was very, very good. And I thought that for the most part, all the supporting characters did a good job. We didn't know that much about all of them, but then again, the runtime was perfect for me. So they probably did that on purpose.
I thought Stephen Merchant did a good job in directing this movie. I thought it was well put together. It was a solid movie for me.
Even the special effects was the wrestling part, I thought were done well.
Yeah, obviously the actors probably spent time actually working with the the people in the WWE to get down their roles in the fighting and the choreograph for the fighting. So I thought, or wrestling, sorry. I thought they did a great job with that. And I thought one of the nice things about this movie too is it gives you a little bit of an insight into the WWE and actually how vigorous of the training and regimen that the wrestlers actually have to go through. So
yes, that part was interesting, very much. I also enjoyed the part about The Rock. I had just seen a little special on him, and it's amazing, how he came up in his life and what he worked through. And he mentions it. He talks about it a little bit. And I enjoyed that.
Yeah. By the way, this movie was also produced by Dwayne Johnson. So he had his hand in the making of this movie.
Okay. I didn't know to what degree.
Yeah, I believe he was the executive producer on this. So. Okay.
Wow. Well, that would explain a lot of it. I thought it was a heartfelt movie, but also even his placement in it. I would have wished for a little more, but I enjoyed when he shared a little bit of his story and it matched what the true story.
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson's role in the movie, I think they kind of, when they wrote this movie, they mixed a couple of roles because I think in the movie he also kind of fills the Vince McMahon role in the WWE. Vince, if you don't know who Vince McMahon is, he's the let's get ready to rumble and the owner of the WWE. So I think they kind of used Dwayne Johnson to fill in his role there.
I also want to mention the fact that I enjoyed Vince Vaughn. He cracked me up. I know people would say it's kind of a similar role that he plays, but he was particularly funny in this movie.
Yeah, he as an actor doesn't have a large breadth of talent as far as a range of talent. He pretty much plays the same character in every movie, but it fit in this movie. Did. So in the role that he played. So I thought that was good casting there with him.
And this movie was better, Tim, than I thought it would be. I mean,
me too. I thought it, I wasn't quite sure how it would be. I'm not a big fan of the WWE and wrestling, but this movie had you standing up and cheering. It was a good sports movie.
Yep,
so
and strong female characters. It's always nice to see.
Okay, we forgot to actually give what we were rating this movie at the start. So go ahead and give me your rating.
I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3.5 because there were some surprises in this movie for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me also, it's definitely a 3.5. It was far better than I thought it was. I kind of went in with low expectations. The trailer made this movie really look like a comedy, and so I was kind of, how's it going to be? But I said and April said, they really did a good job of, the comedy was subtle and it was more of a sports, Rocky type of movie. So it was very enjoyable. Definitely 3.5 for me.
Good. And also, too, the whole point, obsessively follow your passions. That's what life is about and dreams as well. So go get them.
So last night was the Oscars, the 2018 Oscars. We want to thank all of our local listeners here in Atlanta who came out to join us at the Springs Cinema and Tap House last night for the Oscars.
We had a great time and raised thousands and thousands of dollars for the Children's Hospital of Atlanta, the blood disorder area in which it's going to help many, many sick people.
And our thanks and shout out to the Springs for hosting that with us. So
yes, we really appreciate that, and all the vendors that came out as well. It was very well attended and everyone had a great time. So thank you so much.
Hey, if you enjoy the podcast and you haven't told some of your friends about it, we'd really appreciate it if you'd spread the word and at least show one friend how to subscribe to the podcast and listen to it. We really appreciate you listening to us and would love it if you could share the word.
Yes, thank you so much. And we also appreciate all your feedback and invitations. We can't do everything, but we're slowly but surely getting to as many things as we can. So thank you so much. And we love hearing from you. We'll see you at the movies.
See you at the movies.